Hello, I'm Michele Wilcher. I'm a homeschool transition coach and a homeschooling grandmother. And today I'd like to talk to you about transitioning from public or private school into a homeschooling situation. I've developed some questions that families can ask themselves to help them to figure out whether or not homeschooling is the right choice for them. So let's begin. One of the first questions I like to ask families when they're talking to me about whether they should transition to a homeschool environment is, why are they thinking about it? What is it that makes them want to consider this option? Oftentimes I'll hear things like, well, I just don't like the school system, or we have a teacher that's not working for us, or my child is being bullied at school. And a lot of these reasons are not bad reasons, but they're reasons why you're running away from something. You're actually running away from it. What I recommend is that families take some time to figure out what you're running toward, to develop a vision statement for what you actually want from your homeschool choice, from your homeschool environment, from that time with your family. What is it that you value? What are you looking to gain from this experience? By figuring those things out, by what is actually pulling you toward homeschooling, you can support yourself in a way that's going to help you manage some of those times when things aren't going quite the way you thought they would go, when it's becoming a little difficult, when your children are giving you a hard time. Of course, none of your children would ever do that. But perhaps there might be a time where you're feeling a little tired and frustrated and you're trying to remember, why did I do this again? That vision statement is going to be a real helpful tool for you. Second question, how long are you planning to do this? If you're just doing it short term, just for a little while, you're going to need to be very aware of the requirements for getting that student back into the public or private school setting that you are going to choose at the end of the homeschooling term. This is going to require some documentation and possibly jumping through some loopholes that school may have. It's going to be very important that you talk with the school or talk with the school district as you begin your homeschooling time, because you're going to want to make sure that when you get to the end, you're prepared to go on to that next step. This is especially true in high school, as high school students and high schools require certain curriculums, that they complete certain coursework and take certain tests. You're going to want to make sure that you're covering that coursework, that you're having them tested as needed, that you're providing that information so that they don't have to repeat courses as they go back into the school situation. Thirdly, what is your educational philosophy? Often when parents choose to take their kids out of school and begin homeschooling, the vision that they have is that they're just going to recreate the school in their home. Often this is not a good choice. We're all different. We learn differently. Our children learn differently. Our children may be visual learners, auditory learners, kinesthetic learners. We need to understand what type of learner our child is, what type of curriculum is going to best fit with their needs. We also need to understand what our best teaching style is. What is our educational philosophy? What do we value? What do we hope our children will gain as we teach them, as we work with them on a daily basis? There are many different educational philosophies out there: classical approach, traditional homeschooling, unit study approach, etc., etc., etc. They go on for a long time. So how do you begin to figure out what's best for your family? It's not always easy, but there is a good place to start, and that is on the Homeschool Legal Defense Association website. They go by the letters HSLDA. This is a great organization. I have been a lifetime member of it, and it is a good idea to become a member of HSLDA. They do provide legal counsel and legal protection if you should need it for any reason after you make your homeschooling decision. On their website, they have lots of great resources. They have a blog, and on their blog, there is a post entitled Quiz. What's your homeschooling philosophy? In this blog post, they go through each of the main philosophies and they describe it a little bit to just sort of give you an overview of what philosophies are out there. And then they have a link to the actual quiz, which you can take to determine, what philosophy might work best with my personality. What do I like? Do I like traditional approach? Do I like to do unit studies and develop unit studies? Those are the questions that they're going to help you walk through and give you some great feedback on how to make some of those decisions for your family. I'm going to put the link to that actual blog post in the description of this video, so it'll be easy for you to find. Number 4, who's going to be responsible for the homeschooling paperwork and decision making? You're going to have to sign up with the state to be a legally homeschooling family. There's paperwork involved in that. There are certain reports and things that you have to provide the state every year. Who's going to do that? Who's going to make sure those things happen on a timely basis? You need to discuss that amongst your family or the people who are going to be homeschooling with you. Who's going to choose the curriculum? Who's going to actually teach that curriculum? Maybe your husband is better in science and the wife's better in English, or vice versa. And so maybe you want to do a joint approach where, the husband teaches a certain type of course and the wife teaches other courses, or there's a friend who may teach certain courses. These are choices and things that you need to sort of decide before you actually launch into your homeschool. And lastly, what resources are you going to need? Do you have endless amounts of cash that you can just go and buy whatever curriculum you want? Or are you on a very tight budget and you need to find, opportunities to purchase used curriculum? Is there a used curriculum bookstore in your city or town? Do you need to go online and purchase from a place like Thrift Books? These are questions you need to sort of think through and as you begin to prepare for that homeschooling. Who's going to support you? Do you have folks, other homeschooling families in your church, in your neighborhood, in your city? Are there support groups that meet? Can you join one? Who's going to be there when you have questions? How are you going to get those questions answered? When you have a problem or you come across something that's difficult, are there people that you can talk to get good information or advice on how to proceed? This is an important question to ask. Who's going to help teach if you find that some of these subjects are too hard for you, or that if you have a special needs child who needs additional assistance? Where are you going to find that? Are there co-ops in your community where you can sign your child up for specific classes like art or writing, or if you're not good in chemistry, can your child take chemistry at a local co-op? How are you going to cross those bridges and figure out in your area, your particular locale, what might be available and what you might need to take advantage of? If there are no opportunities like that, can you do it online? Are there online schools? And there are a lot. How do you choose from all the online opportunities out there to pick a course that you may need to supplement what's going on in your homeschool? These are very good questions to ask before you actually start the process. It's going to give you a leg up as you actually enter into the process of homeschooling. I hope that this has been helpful. If you like this video, please subscribe. I do have a website, www.homeschooltransitioncoach.com, and you can find lots of helpful resources on my website. And I look forward to talking with you again. Thank you.